yellow, brown, and shades of green when you have pirate tea. When you have pirate tea.
It's good, right? You guys would buy that, right? Pirate tea. Yeah, I'm not joking, man. I'm making a kid's show. I'm not kidding. All right, so, okay, so what you can see here is that couple things. So as you may have guessed by now, I'm a piano player as well. I always record piano live with voice because I'm old school that way, and I believe that every vocal take should be a live performance. But like everything done today, I also believe in overdubbing. So we have my isolated, or rather my live vocal with piano here.
Scurvy's not unnerving when you have pirate tea, because you help yourself to servings of whatever you please. But without a daily dosage of your vitamin C, you'll be whistling Dixie through a gap as wide as the sea when you have pirate tea. Har.
Okay. Right? You guys are going to be walking out of here going, har, har. So.
You think you could get Johnny Depp to do that?
Johnny Depp? Damn, man, I hope so. Actually, I can't pull it up now. Yes, so I shot a music video for this, and yes, I was replete with eyeliner and the whole thing. Yeah, you got the right idea. Kids love pirates, and they don't like brushing their teeth, and you know, I know this firsthand. So, anyway, so what you can see that I did here, a very common technique, first of all, is vocal doubling, right? So, vocal doubling just thickens the voice. Because I've recorded the live vocal with piano, again, there's bleed. You know, and a lot of times people say to me, well, doesn't that bother you? Shouldn't you replace all of that? Well, no. I mean, if it's the performance, it's the performance, right? You know, there was a recent BBC documentary, I'll reference the Fab Four again, and it was called, you know, Please Please Me in 12 Hours or something. It was about the making of their first album, which was in one day and one 12-hour session, all, you know, played live, which nobody would do anymore. Why would we? But the point is, it was the performance. So I overdub and use other things to kind of give it, you know, a little bit more, some. But ultimately, I liked the live vocal and just overdubbed on top of it. Now, what I did to it is what makes it sound a little bit more modern, and it's a technique that's really common. So the first thing, if I just unfreeze this for a moment here. By the way, I should point out that in Audition we have these things called, you know, it's called track freezing. So the reason, or pre-render, it used to be called freeze. So the reason you have track freezing or pre-rendering is that once you start adding effects, and you can see here, I use a lot of effects, you can start to slow your system down. So you pre-render or freeze to basically take it off the CPU. You haven't actually destructively applied anything, right? You're just taking it off of the CPU. So a really common technique, now this would be nice if we were in stereo, but we're not, for thickening vocals is to do one of two things. I'm going to go to, let me go to one of my solo vocals here. Let's see this one. By the way, you know, you guys are hearing these raw too, so they're also not all brilliant, but that's how it is, right?
You gotta brush them so you don't get pirate teeth.
Okay, so let's go into the edit view. This will be easier. Go into my effects rack. So on a lead vocal, there's a couple things you can do. Now this is something that comes out of, again, a long-standing tradition. Where it was really perfected, this technique, I want to say, is actually with ABBA. Okay? Everybody knows that ABBA, you know, everybody knows ABBA, and ABBA was really well known and famous for their vocal sound. And part of what they did to achieve that sound, well, A, was having two guys and two girls singing in harmony all the time. The other element was very careful use of timed delays, right? Specific timed delays. So one of the things that you want to do to thicken or widen a vocal is primarily on the main vocal is to add a slapback, right? Who's familiar with slapback? Slapback echo. Dates back to Elvis. That was the key answer. I was going to say Sun Records, but yes. Dates back to Elvis and Sam Phillips. That's the cha-cha, ha, ta-ta, huh. Right, it's this like double. Slaps you back, right? And if you add a slapback to something, what that does is it just kind of thickens the picture. Now, unlike in the Elvis days where we were dealing in mono, so basically you had this slapback that was slapping this way. Today, you can slap left to right. So if you've got your vocal in the center and you have this kind of thing happening left to right, it's ultimately going to widen, and a slapback echo is, does anyone know the duration of a typical slapback echo, generally speaking? A little bit long. Yeah, anywhere from around 50 to 100 milliseconds, okay? So about a tenth of a second. Now 1200 milliseconds is going to give you, right, so 1000 milliseconds would be a second, so it's going to be a little bit longer delay. When you have a very short, and by the way, the key numbers are like 35 to 75. It's also going to give you a slight chorusing effect. What is the slight chorusing going to do to your vocal? It's going to detune it a little. And it's actually going to make it sound slightly more in tune. Right? So this is a technique that was really perfected later on in the stereo days for thickening and slightly detuning, but kind of putting everything, kind of molding